15-16 maj 2024, lutje globale për Izraelin. Mijëra, hebrenjve të krishterë nga gjithë bota do t'jenë sëbashku në një platformë live për të lutur për sigurinë dhe mbrojtjen e Izraelit në këtë orë. Kjo në fakt është një ftesë edhe për ne si në Shqipëri edhe në Kosovë të bashkohemi në këtë lutje. Tani më shumë se kurrë nga kërcënimet ndaj hebrejve anembanë botës në një nivel që nuk është parë që nga Holokausti, është koha për të qëndruar me Izraelin. Ne jemi në një lidhje online me Jonathan Feldstein nga Fondacioni Familja 1-2-3. Mirë se erdhe në programin ton dhe të falenderojmë shumë që pranove ftesën tonë.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Really an honor.
Si nisi ideja nga fondacioni juaj për organizimin e 15 maj si një ditë lutje globale? Çfarë ju shtyu për një lutje globale?
So I have to give credit to my friend Kathleen, whose twin sister was killed here in a terrorist attack about 12 or 13 years ago. And back in January, she said, Jonathan, we need to get Jews and Christians together to pray for Israel during this war. She's been very troubled by what's going on and has been praying every day, and I credit her with the idea. So we started to put together the time frame and put together partners and promoting it, and it's also just something that we do as part of the Genesis 1-2-3 Foundation to build bridges with Christians from all over the world and not have it only be about where people can give money, but also the power of prayer together.
Pse pikërisht në 15 maj kjo lutja? Ka një lidhje historike kjo datë me Izraelin?
On May 14th, 1948, Israel declared independence, but because that was a Friday and we don't do business on Shabbat, on Saturdays here, the declaration was made on a Friday, May 14th, to go into effect on Saturday, May 15th, 1948, which was the end of the British mandate or the British occupation. So today, our enemies call May 15th, they call it the Nakba, the catastrophe of Israel's existence, which, as you know, they're still trying to fight us. And therefore, we decided May 15th is an historic day. We'll be celebrating Israel's 76th anniversary of independence, but also offering something positive, putting our faith in God as Jews and Christians standing with Israel together to turn the narrative of May 15th into something that's only positive.
Dhe sa orë do të zgjas pra kjo lutje globale?
I'm so glad you asked, because literally half an hour before we began speaking, I checked. We have every continent except Antarctica. Currently, although no one from Albania yet, currently 30 different nations from around the world in all of the other continents, and it's going to be 6 hours beginning at 7 p.m. Israel time on May 15th, and then going until 1 a.m. Israel time. And we have people who are registering from Asia to be part of the beginning of it, and from New Zealand and Australia and other parts of the Pacific to registering to be part of the end of it when they're waking up the following morning.
Ju sigurisht që keni vendosur disa pika lutje emergjente. A mund të na tregoni se cilat janë?
Well, we're praying for 3 specific topics. Every hour will be a different one. We're praying for the release of the hostages and for the families of the hostages. We're praying for the IDF, that they should be successful and safe, and for the families, particularly of those who have been killed in the last several months, and the widows and orphans, but all of them. And we're praying that God will change the hearts of our enemies so that they will know the true God and have a relationship. And when they understand who the God of Israel is, they'll understand and love the people of Israel. That's our prayer, and that's what we're inviting people to participate in. And I would just add that each hour we will have a different teaching segment on each of those themes, so people can have an up-to-date way to focus their prayers on what's specifically needed at that time.
Po, Zoti Jonathan, nga informacione që keni, ka shpresa që të liron pengjet e Hamasit?
It's a very good question about the hostages, and it's very painful here in Israel. It's tearing us up because 133 people are still being held hostage in Gaza, and Hamas is saying that they might agree, might not agree, and maybe they'll agree to let out 20 or 30 or 40. I do have hope. We all have hope. And when I've been speaking to families of hostages, there's abundant hope. But it's very hard when the terrorists are not playing by the same rules and are not being humanitarian. I pray that by the time the global prayer for Israel begins, at least some of the hostages that are still there in Gaza, dead or alive, will be released, and that some of their families will have the ability to have greater closure, but the trauma that's inflicting them and their families is very, very great.
Si mendon, cili duhet jetë roli ynë si të krishterë në këto kohë pasigurie?
Well, that's an excellent question. Part of the purpose of the Genesis 1-2-3 Foundation, the main purpose, is to bring Jews and Christians together in ways that are new and unique and meaningful. And this is a unique event. I don't know how many followers here understand how the history between the church and the Jewish people over almost 2,000 years. And it hasn't been a great one until the last 100 or 200 years. And we're seeing support for Israel from Christians, support for Israel and the Jewish people at levels that I believe are the highest in the history. And I don't mean the history of the last 76 years. I mean history since the beginning of the church. And the significance of Christians standing with Jews and Israel today, and Christians joining us, is that we're saying no to the past of replacement theology. We're saying yes, that Israel has prophetic significance. Forget the geopolitics, that Jews and Christians understand that, and that Christians are uniting in full support with Israel, and that Christians around the world understand that Jewish brothers and sisters like myself and my family and millions of us here are really suffering now. There's a lot of pain, and knowing, and I know this will be the case, knowing that through all of the prayers, Israelis will be comforted. God will answer, but Israelis will be comforted. And that's an additional, very important point that Christians should understand is significant in their participation.
Edhe njëherë, cila është thirrja juaj që besimtarët e krishterë në të gjithë botën edhe hebrenj të bashkohen me ju në lutje?
So yeah, the call is to join us May 15th, beginning at 7 p.m. Israel time, going for 6 hours. Every hour we will have a different prayer theme. And so we're asking Jews and Christians who share commonalities in faith and worship the creator of the universe, the God of Israel, to join us in prayer. And whether they're praying live on air, which we will have a limited number of people doing, or praying from their homes and then sharing the recordings and inviting as many other people as possible to join this. I call it flooding God's inbox with prayer. And that's what I hope we do. We as Jews and Christians believe, understand that God listens to our prayers and answers our prayers. So we want to flood his inbox with prayer so he knows God can do anything and he doesn't need us. But us reminding him that we are here and that we care will cause him to act favorably.
Zoti Jonathan, gjithashtu cila është platforma online ku mund të aksesohet nga ata që duan që të luten së bashku me ju? Pra, ku mund ta gjejnë linkun?
The easiest way to join is go to the Genesis 1-2-3 Foundation website or Facebook page where we have all the information posted. The website is genesis123.co, and on Facebook and YouTube as well, we'll be streaming it live on our YouTube channel for anyone who's not able to register to be part of the Zoom event. But again, it's genesis123.co, and the link is right there to register. And I look forward, as soon as people start seeing this, to see hundreds of people joining from Albania. That'll be a big blessing.
Të falenderojmë dhe ishte vërtet kënaqësi të kishim pjesë të programit ton.
Thank you. It's really my honor, and I'm grateful for you giving me this opportunity. God bless you all.
Shumë bekime edhe për ty, miq, mos u largoni, ne do të rikthehemi pas pak në studio.